Hi, my name is Amy Mazzi, and I'm with Centurion Boats, and today I'm standing here in front of the all-new 2024 Centurion Ri245. This is a 24.5-foot boat. It's rated for 16 people, and it has as much as 5,650 pounds of ballast in it. Let's go check it out. So we've got to start at the bow of the Ri245 because honestly, that's one of the best looking parts about this boat. It has a modified V-shaped bow, so a little more traditional in shape, but thanks to these docking lights, which by the way are extremely powerful, they make the front of this boat just look mean. And they also shine with as much as 4,800 lumens of light on each side. Now, you're only supposed to use these lights when you're docking, but if somebody sees you from down across the lake coming at them with those lights on, oh boy, they're gonna watch out. As we progress down the side of the Ri245, you'll start to recognize something a little bit different, and that is the new standard vented windshield. This windshield, it has an amazing look to it. It's also customizable. Optionally, you can get a colored A-pillar, and the A-pillar is this part of the windshield here. It's gloss black in this case, but you can get it in 18 different colors if you so choose. So it adds another custom element to the boat that basically ties it in with the rest of the design you've chosen. You can also opt to color these vents. And these vents are throughout the boat. They're made by PTM. They are two-tone vents. So you've got a brushed finish with the black on top. So you can color this brushed portion of the vent. And again, you can choose between 18 different colors to tie, again, the design of the boat in with every other color you've chosen. Another really cool option we have for 2024 is bumper cleats. So these little cleats here allow this bumper to pop in easily. It comes with a branded line, so you don't have to worry about tying up your rope at just the right height. These bumpers are 20 inches, big enough for these huge boats, and they really keep it safe. They're also really easy to get on and off, so you can easily be ready for that docking as soon as you get to the dock. There's also a really cool storage center made just for this option inside the boat. So there's always a place for them to go, and you always know where they will be, so you can get the bumpers on quickly. It doesn't take us long as we move down the profile of the Ri245 to reach another custom element or customizable element of the boat, and that's right here. You have the drop zone auto tower, which is made by Roswell. It is available in white or black, but you can accent this tower with a tower shield, and you can color it one of 37 different gel coat colors, and you can add a second accent to it as well, just like you see here. You can also customize the decals. These Chromex decals come in 3 different colors. You've got black on black, we have a silver lined with black in the middle, and then we have a chrome version. So again, every time you look at a different element on this boat, most likely it can be customized. Once again, we've run into another customizable element on the Ri245, and this is the drive gel coat scheme. This particular gel coat scheme, and what I mean when I say scheme is the way that this is sprayed and laid out. So we've got the red here, which could be any one of our 37 different gel coat colors, and we've got steel blue metal flake here, which could be any one of those 37 different gel coat colors. But this particular scheme has a very different look to it, and it is one of 3 schemes available on the Ri series. This is a really cool one. That fire red metal flake and steel blue, it looks awesome together. But hiding underneath all of this beauty and customization is maximum performance. So the Ri245 has an Opti-V running surface. What that means is it is a modified deep V, which means the V of the bottom of the boat follows the entire running surface, and it displaces more water with less ballast weight. It also helps you with the great rough water ride, but a typical deep V can tend to be sensitive for side-to-side weight shift. It can kind of wash a wake on one side or the other because it starts to lean. Not the case with an Opti-V. Now, Opti-V is actually optimized to give balance to the running surface. There are triangular pads built into the rear corners of this running surface that allow it balance from side to side. What that gives you, the benefit, is a symmetrical wakeboard wake, which means the wake is the same on either side. And it's rampy, it's well formed, it's a great launch pad no matter which side you're launching off of. It also gives you an easy to get surf wave that is symmetrical on each side, goofy or regular as well. That optimization is key to the success we have with this particular running surface. So we've talked a lot about options. We've talked a lot about the look of the boat, customization. One thing we haven't touched on a ton yet is the performance of this boat. A Centurion Ri245 is a wake surf boat, start to finish. That's where this boat shines. And that's how we do surfing. Right now, quick surf. This is the way we do it. So you've got 5,650 pounds of ballast available in this boat, which displaces the hull. And when I say displace, I mean it basically sinks the hull down into the water to displace water that we make a surf wave out of. But we do that with quick surf. What quick surf does is it acts as a trim tab, but there is one trim tab on either side, on either corner of the boat. So the trim tab opposite the surf side goes down. It creates lift, and it displaces the surf side corner even more than the ballast has displaced it. What it makes is a curl. It makes a wave. And you can switch it from side to side in about 2 seconds. So this boat is not only beautiful, customizable, optioned, out the yin-yang, you can actually surf well behind this boat. It is made to perform. You may have noticed there's a lot going on under the swim step. Don't get me wrong, the swim step's beautiful and great to hang out on up top. But when you take a look down below, there's a bunch of stuff down here. We've got a lot of cool options with our quick surf tabs. We also have a new available underwater light, and it is, believe it or not, RGBW, and it has 10,000 lumens of light that it shines. It is bright. I would turn it on, but you wouldn't be able to see anything else after that. But what I really want to talk about is something that's actually standard this year on the RI series, and that's the Silent Stinger wake plate. The Silent Stinger is a wake plate. What that means is it adjusts the running attitude of the boat. When the wake plate goes down, it takes the nose of the boat down in front. It actually creates lift at the back of the boat and puts the nose of the boat down. You would utilize that setting when you're trying to cut through the water on a really rough day. You're getting that most aggressive part of the V underneath the bow, cutting through the chop. But let's say you're surfing. A lot of times you're going to want to bring this Stinger wake plate up so that the back of the boat sinks deeper into the water and displaces more water for a better surf wave. But that particular characteristic for this now standard feature on the RI is just one of the things that it does. It is also a sound dampener. So this takes down the noise of the engine. It makes the interior of the boat quieter. How it does that is it takes the exhaust from the engine and tumbles it through a series of baffles that are built into this plate. There's also water being forced in from the bottom through induction ports, and it tumbles with that exhaust, dampening the noise of the engine. It also removes any kind of line that your exhaust could create through your surf wave, so it won't catch your board. You still have a smooth surface to surf on. But this plate, now standard, is amazing on the RI, both from the inside and the outside. As you step up onto this swim step, you start to realize just how tall, how much freeboard this boat has. But also you get a good look at the swim step, which is not only designed to go along with the look of the boat, it also is a great canvas for whatever gator step you've chosen for your boat. This one in particular has a salute to service pattern on it, and it is colored beautifully with a combination of shark fin, red, and looks like silver cloud. It is a beautiful design. But once I get tired of looking at the swim step, I want to put my shoes away and get in the boat. So I can use this trunk storage in the back for storage, or I can opt for a transom ballast bag in this area. And then I can take a seat. and take another gander at the swim step design, which is obviously beautiful. But you've also got a really cool hangout spot back here on the back of the Ri245. I've got cup holders, I've got a place to sit, I have an optional stereo remote so I can command my tunes even from back here. And it's just comfortable. I mean, it allows us to just hang out and swim very comfortably and gaze at all of this Ri245 beauty. So not only do we have a great hangout area on the back of the Ri245, we actually have tiered stadium seating. At least that's what I'm going to call it now. So with these lean backs, which are standard on the Ri, I can have another row of seating just like this. So you got your hangout seats here, maybe your preparatory seats down below where you're getting ready to surf or getting ready to wakeboard. Either way, the Ri245 is made to be comfortable and flexible with whatever you want to do in or behind the boat. The Ri245 has a perfect path to get into the boat and a step down fiberglass with gator step on it, so I'm not stepping down on my interior or my upholstery. I love that about this interior. But honestly, it's kind of a big step down. That's because this boat is big and it's deep. You sit really far down into an Ri. We call it freeboard, and really it's the height of the boat. But this interior is set down into this boat. So it's very comfortable. The backs are high on all of the lean backs. They hit you in a really good spot. And if you've got young children with you in the boat, even though they have a life vest on, they're in the boat. They're sitting down in. You can feel safe and comforted by that fact. And once you get on the interior of this boat, you start to remember, wow, this is 24.5 feet and kind of even feels a little bit bigger. But this is a big boat. So once we're safely sitting in the Ri245, you start to understand how comfortable this boat is. And part of that comfort is created by the materials used to make it. And specifically, I want to talk about the Spradling vinyl. This vinyl has a 17 mil top coat, which looks awesome. It gives it kind of a matte finish and a sheen on some of our textures, but it also feels nice. It's very comfortable and it's super resilient. The top coat actually allows this boat to resist things like acid rain, UV rays, harsh cleaning chemicals, as well as abrasions. So let's say we accidentally drag one of our surfboard fins across the upholstery. It's not going to cut it. It is very, very resilient, as well as beautiful and comfortable. But another big strength of this interior is literally the stitching. It's Gore-Tenera thread. And yes, it's made by Gore-Tex, so it's very, very strong. Also resists UV rays, acid rain, harsh cleaning chemicals. But you can color match it. We have 7 different color choices of thread, and you can make this interior even more customizable. So again, the interior is not only beautiful, not only customizable, but it's extremely durable. Well, you can't miss the customizable flooring in this Ri245. You have 5 different flooring schemes to choose from with an Ri. This particular scheme is our Salute to Service scheme. This is very near and dear to our heart. It's also gorgeous. So it's a design of flags and stars and stripes, and it's 3 different layers. So I can choose between 15 different colors on each of those 3 layers. In this particular case, we have silver cloud on the bottom, and we've got the red cardinal in the middle, and then we have the shark fin on top. And this has a laser texture in that shark fin or that top layer, and it is wood grain. So it almost looks like an ammo box, you know, on top. And I love this scheme. It's super beautiful, but it also means a lot. It's because every Salute to Service flooring scheme we add to a boat as an option for the 2024 model year will also carry along with it a donation to a collection of 3 different service charities that we are involved with. Operation Get Out, Operation Wake Surf, and Our Heroes Tour. All 3 of these service charities prioritize military men and women, as well as first responders and frontline workers, as to benefit them and really help them heal through water in and around our boats, essentially. And we love that about those charities. And we really love this Salute to Service flooring scheme. So one of the things you'll notice on the interior of this particular 2024 Ri245 is the lights, and they're red. That is an option for 2024 on all Centurions, but in this Ri, it's called RGBW control, and it allows you to have a controller that shows all these different colors in your lights. And depending on what options you have, if you've chosen the limo lights, which are the lights along the floor, you'll have RGBW there if you also choose the controller. If you've chosen an upgraded stereo system, those stereo systems also have light rings incorporated into them. Your controller will also change the color of the Centurions on the interior side panel. And you can change it through a whole spectrum of colors if you choose that RGBW controller. Not only are these side panels extremely beautifully lit, they also have power to them. In fact, they have a lay flat wireless charger built into them. So it used to be a cup holder there. So this year in the RIs, you'll find a lay flat wireless charger where you can lay your phone on it and charge. And there's one on either side of the lounge. There's also a lay flat charger in the glove box, standard in an Ri. You also have another power point that's unique in this side panel, and it's a combination power point. It's USB-C and a regular USB plug. So there's actually two power points in one. So that's why we call it the combo. Another thing you'll notice about the side panel that's different from years past is how finished it is. We have taken the time to hand cover pieces that cover any kind of a access hatch to get to wiring or things like that. So it's definitely more finished off and even more beautiful. As big as the Ri245 interior is, we need to make the seating versatile. What I mean by that is you can have as many as 16 people in this boat, and everybody's going to want to use the boat and sit in a different spot in the boat differently. So we have a solution for that. You have an optional flip-up lean back that you can get on the passenger side. What this gives you is a rear-facing vantage point from the inside of the boat. So not just the observers can be sitting facing backwards, but you can have someone on the interior of the lounge facing backwards watching the rider as well. Then we have this is standard feature of the Ri245 4-position slide seat. This seat slides into one of its 4 positions, and you can plug in optional lean backs to face backward, to face forward. You can even plug in an optional table that will travel with the slide seat to make the seating versatile. And then in the Ri245, we always have the driver's side rear-facing lean back that's just behind the driver's seat, and you can have another rear-facing vantage point. The other cool thing about that particular enclosure is it's got a trash chute in it as well. So you can throw all your trash away. It doesn't have to be out for everybody to see. But this is a very versatile interior setup that allows you to utilize every day on the lake differently, but exactly how you want to. Well, we know every person has their own place in an Ri245, but also all of their stuff does too. The storage in an Ri245 is underneath all of the lounge cushions, and many of them are hinged and shocked. So I don't have to use any hands, just open it up and I can start loading stuff in. What you've got here is these optional bumpers that go along with our bumper cleats this year. There's a little storage center for them, so I can clip them in and actually have a place for them to stay. They're not going to go rolling around through these big cavernous storage areas. They have their own spot. And when I'm ready to dock, I just have to pull them out, pop them into place, and my boat is taken care of. So we've put everybody in their seat. We've put all their stuff away. What do we need to do next? We need to have a place for the trash. A lot of people in this boat, as many as 16, they can make a lot of trash. Well, here's one right here. This trash chute is right aligned with the trash can. You just drop whatever waste you have in there and you're good to go. It's out of sight, out of mind. It's easy to access as well when I need to take out the trash just through raising this lean back. But You'll also notice there's a little bit of extra stitching in this Ri245 this year. In fact, a specific Ri series stitching design has been added, and it can be color matched with the 7 different thread color choices that we offer. Looks pretty cool, just another signature element of Centurion specific to the Ri series. So standard on the Ri245 is the Drop Zone Auto Tower by Roswell. And this particular tower is unmistakable. It has a teardrop extrusion that surrounds the entire hoop of the tower, and it gives it a signature look, but also a lot of strength. By adding this spine to the extrusion, it really makes this tower super strong. But part of that strength comes from the cam latching mechanism that's built into the foot of this tower. It allows it to pull the hoop of the tower down onto the base and lock it in place so that it doesn't rattle, it doesn't sway from side to side. It is a very strong tower. Color matched, it can be white or black as far as the extrusion is concerned, and then you can choose between 37 different gel coat colors to add as an accent on the tower shields. And then you can add a second accent if you would like. This can be customized almost as much as the rest of the boat, and it looks like it was made to go with this Ri245 because honestly it was. Not only is the Ri245's Drop Zone Auto Tower beautiful, strong, extremely functional, being able to raise and lower it very quickly and steadily, you can also option it to the hilt. Here's one of such options right now, the Bombshell 2.0 rack. This rack is feature heavy. It comes with flag holders. It comes with hangers to hang your life vests that are wet, towels that are wet so that they can hang out over the water. It also swivels. So while I load a board on the inside of the boat, I can swivel it and put this all the way out here without having to wrench my back or try to maneuver those big surfboards out over the water. And this rack does accept a really big board. In fact, as wide as 23 inches will fit in this rack, and it fits well cushioned. So you've got a system built into this rack that has no pressure points. It's not going to dent your board. We all know how much those custom surfboards can cost, and we want to make sure we take care of them, but yet we get them up off the floor and out of the way so we have room for all the 16 people that can fit in this Ri245. The other cool element about this rack is the fact that you can color it. 18 different color choices on this particular rack are available. So again, it's a beautiful option. It functions well, super strong, and it's just cool. Another option that you can get on the Drop Zone Auto Tower is stereo upgrades. This particular stereo upgrade is called the Hero sound system by Wet Sounds. And as you can see, you will be the hero on the lake with this system. You have 4 Rev 10s that are horns just mounted on the tower. They've got lighting element to them. As you can see, we have our RGBW set to red at this moment, but you can spill tons of sound back to the rider behind you. But we have a zone control, so all of the other 8-inch interior Wet Sound speakers that can crank out the tunes, they can be controlled separately from the tower speakers. It's a really easy system to control and super fun. Now we've moved to one of my favorite spots in the boat. I know I say that all the time, but this is the spot I have control. And this is the spot I'm normally in, the driver's seat. So this particular seat is a Cobra racing seat, and it is standard in an Ri. And this is such a comfortable seat. It has a high back, so it's got a lot of support, but it also has some great versatility built in. I can throw a leg over the side, talk back to my passengers, and it also swivels. So I can swivel back around here. It's a very comfortable and functional seat. But what its main function is to get me looking at all of this control. And what you've got here is the Revo touchscreens, and these screens are 12 inches square and give me a lot of real estate to be able to see everything that this boat does. One of my favorite things that is new for this year, and I talked about a little bit earlier, is an option called RGBW. So I can actually change all of the colors in different zones on the interior and exterior of my boat. So as you can see, I have 4 different zones I can change. Right now I have my underwater lights off. Why? Because they're very, very bright, and we have them on for too long outside the water, they get hot. So we want to turn that off for now. But I want to control my interior, my tower speakers, and my interior speaker lights. And right now I've got them set to red, but I'm feeling patriotic. Oh, I need to select the different one, but I'm going to set them to blue. And maybe I'm going to do it a little bit of both. So I'm going to do tower speakers blue. I'm going to do my interior speakers red. And then my interior lights, I'm going to make these white. So I can have different colors set everywhere. So now I have my interior lights white, I have my interior speakers red, and I have my tower speakers blue. So I'm extremely patriotic with my RGBW color choices right now. But it's really as easy as that. And I can turn all of them off if I want, or I can turn all of them on. And then I can choose to turn my underwater lights off. But any of those choices are very easily made, and they happen right here through this touchscreen. That's just one of my favorite features for this year. Very, very easy to get to, and fun for that matter. One of the other new features on an Ri245 for 2024, you may notice here, looks a little unfamiliar. This driver's side remote powers the new Backbone ecosystem stereo that we have standard in Centurions this year. And this driver's side remote, it controls anything and everything about the stereo, but probably my favorite part of it is the volume knob. This knob is easy to use, and I can use it quickly to turn the music down. Typically when I'm driving the boat, if I'm going back around to pick up a fallen rider, I want to be able to turn the stereo down quickly so I can hear if there's any kind of problem with the rider that's in the water. And I also am of the age that anytime I can't hear, I don't feel like I can see. Does that make any sense? Maybe that's a mom thing, I don't know. But I love this volume knob. It may be old and antiquated, but man, it sure works really well. So as I mentioned earlier, we talk about the level of control that this driver's helm gives you in an Ri245, and you can see it here. You can see it with as many menu items as I have to choose from. I can go to my home screen and have a view of any one of the systems that is working in the boat currently, whether it be the engine hours or the battery voltage, I mean, you name it. I've also got my surf settings that are one touch away, and I can activate my quick surf, turn it on and off. I can activate my quick launch, which gets me on plane very quickly from here. I can go to my ballast settings. I can fill every ballast cavity in this boat at one time if I want. I can fill individual ballast areas. I can even go to a detailed breakout of each ballast area and fill and drain each one accordingly. I have ultimate control. We looked at some of the lighting earlier that I have control of. And GPS mapping, it shows me in an abyss right now because we're on land, but you've got contours of the lake that you can see, mapping and paths that you can enter in to make sure you know your way back to the dock. There's a lot of functionality in an Ri245, and most of it centers around that screen. However, the driver's area, the wheel specifically, and my access to the paddle shifters, that we call them sport shifters, on either side of the steering wheel are also another level of control. So what I love about these shifters is the fact that I don't ever have to take my eyes off the water or off the screens in front of me to control either my silent stinger, which is the trim tab that we have mounted in the back of the boat under the swim step, or my set speed through zero off speed control. So all I have to do is reach out with a couple fingers and pull one of the levers towards me, and I can control that silent stinger. And remember, when I put the silent stinger up like that, it actually allows my back of my boat to go deeper into the water. When I put it down, it allows the nose of my boat to go deeper into the water, essentially, and cut through that chop on a really rough day. I can also increment my speed on my right side just by doing the same thing, pulling that top shifter towards me, or I can decrement my speed or slow down by pulling the bottom one closer to me. It's really easy to do, and I never have to lose sight of the water in front of me when I do it. So I know I start to sound like a broken record here, but another standard feature in the Ri245 for 2024 model year is the ice chest. So not only do I have an ice chest enclosure built into the floor, which can accept drinks and ice, liquid, and has a drain that goes into the bilge, there is a 15-quart Grizzly cooler that comes with the Ri245, and it just so happens to have matching gator step. So you can use that cooler outside, you can use it at home, you can not even bring it in the boat with you, and you still have an ice chest built in with this enclosure. So you've really got 2 ice chests in one. So as the all-time driver in my boat, pretty much, I'm always sitting behind the windshield. And one of the things I love about this new vented windshield that we're offering standard on the Ri245 this year is that I have the ability to vent it, open it up. If it's a hot day on the water, I can actually open this little door here and let air through. But if it's cool outside, I can close it off and I can stay nice and warm and protected behind the windshield. So we talked earlier about the trash chute and receptacle that's located behind the driver's seat. Well, we have a second one in the Ri245. For the 2024 model year, we have a trash chute that's accessible via the walkthrough. So I can throw trash in from here. I don't have to have anybody get up, be aware of it. I can just go ahead and put away what I need to. Or I could put my recycling in this one and my trash in the other one, or vice versa. I've got the choice. As a mom, that is key. That is one of my favorite features because I can keep this boat as clean as it deserves to be. So another standard feature in the RI series, and actually it's in the FIs as well, is battery management system and a PDM breaker. So you can see in the glove box now, instead of having the old isolator switch that was tucked up under the observer seat, now we have a battery management system and a breaker box for the PDMs. I have access to all of my PDMs right here. I don't have to go search for them throughout the boat to try to test something or figure out what could be wrong if I'm having a problem. Right here, I have access to those and I can understand whether they're functioning or not. Now, the way this switch works is really, really simple. If I want to run my interior lights, my stereo, we call that the house controls. So I want to turn on the battery that controls my house functions. And that would be those types of things, the types of things you want when you're floating in a cove and just hanging out. You can just run off that house battery. Now, let's say I want to go somewhere and I want to start my engine. Then I'm going to turn on my engine battery. That is going to allow me to start the boat. But the great thing is while I was hanging out, listening to tunes, flipping on my RGBW lights, I was not using that battery that allows my engine to start. So I've got enough juice guaranteed to get myself back to the dock. So another standard feature for 2024 is the Backbone Ecosystem, which is a stereo system by Wet Sounds. And you can see the face controls here in the glove box. They're very, very visual, lots of control at this area. In an Ri245, I also have the standard driver's side remote with volume knob at the dash. And then there's an optional transom remote where you can control the stereo from the back of the boat. But this particular stereo is a black box system. So the brain of the stereo is mounted up underneath the dash and out of the way. I don't need to see that. I don't need to have access to that. I've got all the control I need right here in the glove box. Right next to the stereo, I also have a combo power, USB and USB-C, as well as an input for the stereo itself. So if I have a USB drive that I want to play some video through or play some songs through, I can plug them in the dash right here. Simple as that. The optional 360 mirror by Roswell gives you a 180-degree view behind you, but it also allows for a color matched element. I can choose between 18 different colors to color this mirror, so it matches everything else in my Ri245. And the cool thing, and why they call it a 360 mirror, is I can easily get this mirror out of the way, or I can put it in a different position. It rotates 360 degrees. It is really cool, super functional, and looks great too. Finally, we've walked through to the bow, and it is a true walk-through bow. But this bow is a lot more than just a place to sit. It is accommodating. We've got an optional center filler cushion. We can make it a playpen like it is now, or I can take this out, make this a tiny lounge up here. I can have another person sitting next to me, and we've each got cup holders and PowerPoints as well as speakers that can comfort us. One great option that we're issuing or releasing this year is even armrests, so I can make myself more comfortable in the bow. And that's all there is to it. I think this is my new favorite place to sit. I hope you've learned everything you ever wanted to know about the all-new 2024 Ri245. This boat is amazing, but don't take my word for it. Visit your local Centurion Boats dealer and let us prove it to you today.